Every video game has its boogeyman. It is someone that the devs of the game fear. It is someone who knows their dark secrets and their future plans. And no, the boogeyman of League of Legends is not True Levin, even though that's whom everyone is talking about all the time. No, we're talking about the one mortal the Riot Games Corporation is afraid of. Skin spotlights. That's right, it turns out if you have an area to publicly test all your code, the chances are there are gonna be people who get better and better at data mining your stuff, until we get to the point where a single human being can data mine what other games you are working on. I wish I was making it up. And well, it turns out that under the hood, below everything that you can see in the normal client, PBE added in a lot more cool stuff. I mean, the latest drop already gave us the Darkin skins, which I liked very much, even though they were definitely not perfect. We also got all the Arcana skins for the battle passes, which everyone was happy about. Xin Zhao also got his entire ASU together with the awesome voice lines. Atakan was also updated and it teased what's gonna be happening with the next champion. But over the last week, people found a lot more, including a new version of Chroma skins, a possible future update for Arena, and a massive change to the glorious Gacha machine. A lot of these are changes that we are likely not supposed to know about, but Skin Spotlight simply dug too deep, and now we are learning about dark stuff that should be hidden. And so, let's go through all of these. First of all, there is a little cool fun update. Up until this point, as people get the hidden names in Champion Select, the chances were you are able to get one of 5 names. I believe the originals were Grump, Krug, Merkwolf, Raptor, and Scuttle. But now, the available pool of names got a lot bigger, with a lot of the new names being references to the universe of Runeterra, including minions, void grubs, a lot of jungle monsters, but there are also deeper lore references such as Meeps, Stellarcorns, Silverwings, Drakehounds, Basilisks, Tusk Beasts. For a second I got scared, I thought that Riot made a new name for the Druvask boars. But no, the Tusk Beasts are actually the Noxian elephants. Yes, this universe does have elephants. And lastly, there are wyverns. Now, this universe doesn't really have that many wyverns, though technically that is what a lot of the dragons should be called. But I believe the only thing actually called a wyvern is one of the beasts from Targon that is related to Kael's mother. So maybe that's what this is referencing. Though people also say that Shyvana is technically a wyvern. But that's it for the names. So now on to more important updates. For example, there is an update to Arena's code. Specifically, this is something that was added in patch 25.13. And it seems like Riot tested a new queue for Arena that allowed up to 3 members. That's right, with a team size of 3, that's a whole new game mode. Just imagine all the new team comps that can be put together. Maybe people will go for the holy trinity of a tank, DPS and a healer. Maybe we will get the double DPS and a support, which is most likely gonna be the standard. And then you face the triple tank CC, and you're gonna wish that's not the meta. Though the real meta is gonna be just a bunch of champions spawning a lot of stuff. But I'll be honest, that kind of format reminds me of the WoW arena system, because 3v3s were always the main format there. So who knows, maybe there is something to it, and maybe this is gonna be the preferred way to play arena. And I wonder, what if this eventually ends up with a 5v5 arena? But at that point we would be just playing a teamfight arena. And that is getting too close to TFT. Anyway, speaking of game modes, and speaking of just a lot of 5v5 action, we also got an official confirmation that Brawl might really become a permanent part of League of Legends. This was previously teased, but now we can see that the team is trying to figure out if people prefer Brawl as new players. And if they do, then Brawl might be the new tutorial area for people, and eventually they could transition into Summoner's Rift. Regardless, this could mean that Brawl is becoming a permanent game mode. I mean, I can tell you from personal experience that my own brother started playing League for the first time properly for Brawl. That really was the best place for him to try and learn League. And then after 2 weeks it was gone and he stopped playing League. That is actually a true story. So maybe the team is onto something. Next, also related to game modes, I guess. While we are not getting a Darkin map and we are going back to normal Summoner's Rift, as was confirmed in the last dev talk. Which makes sense, because for Worlds you wanna be playing on normal Summoner's Rift so that it is recognizable for the masses. Well, it turns out we were lied to! But while we are not gonna be getting a Darkin Summoner's Rift, which would be badass, instead, there are new references to Winter Map. Yes, this is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. We are getting a Winter Map. This is something that people have been looking for since 2012. And now, a decade later, the time has come. I just can't wait to see Baron in a Christmas hat. Next, another fun update that also dropped on PBE is an update to LeBlanc's icon. She did get a new icon for Season 3, and it turns out in that icon, she looked goofy. Somehow they forgot to blend in one of her eyes, and so she got a lazy eye. I'm happy to say that is fixed now. And finally, that starts pushing us into the more interesting updates. For example, out of nowhere, we got the Transcendent Chroma. This is a new rarity for a Chroma skin, which made people think, aha! Gacha system. Which may very well still be true, but as of right now, it seems like this rarity is reserved for really special chromas. One of the first one that got into this category on PBE is the Challenger Chroma for Victoria's Fiora. And apparently, some chromas already had this rarity, but the collection tab literally didn't have a category for these. So either someone at Riot fixed a bug and now the Transcendent rarity is a thing, or Riot is preparing for making a new version of chroma skins. If that is the case, Lord be with us. Now after this, we also got a new image for Act 1 of Season 3. Apparently, this is an image for one of the missions, and it teases that Xin Zhao is gonna duke it out with Atakan himself, which is to be expected from all the teasers we got so far. And since the background also kinda fits the Darkin vibes as well as Demacia, it is possible Xin Zhao is gonna get the visions of the Darkin. Now, speaking of Demacia, also on PBE, we got Unbound Garen. I'll be honest, while the Unbound skins for TFT were not that amazing at the beginning, they really raised the quality, and now people even accepted the price as it is what it is. Because TFT as a base free-to-play game is still really good. So people are more likely to forgive predatory monetization. And so yeah, I guess this is fine. After this, we also got a great commitment to the WASD controls. Sorry, I guess the official term is WASD. Well, now all that code has official tooltips. And as far as we know, that's just a good old simple code. Well, I wouldn't say simple, it's actually quite complex. Which brings us to the last discovery that was made. And this one wasn't even on PBE. Instead, this was found on one of their websites. We should thank all the people who have their bots set up on all of Riot's websites to check for differences. And that's because there are changes around Riot's Gacha. To our knowledge, on August the 18th, Riot edited their Sanctum article. Previously, when talking about the availability of Gacha skins, we were always told that after these skins are gone, they are gone. Which is something people didn't expect, because this is not how normal gacha systems work. Gacha pools are based on a term called reruns. In fact, that is what the entire banner system is based on. It's the idea that every time you get something new in a gacha game, something old that was limited also comes back. Hence why 2 banners. But somehow, this wasn't the case for League, and I don't understand why Riot did this, because they were just shooting themselves in their own foot. And that was for absolutely no reason. Well, I say no reason, but there was actually one, and that's marketing. You see, if something is limited, it is tied to real FOMO. If you don't buy it now, you will never be able to get it. And I can tell you right now, I bet there were a lot of people who bought a lot of the gacha stuff because it was limited. And well, last week, the article about the Sanctum that called the rewards limited exclusive rewards was changed to only say exclusive rewards. Meaning it is exclusive to the Sanctum, but it is no longer a one-time run. More importantly, as Skin Spotlights mentioned, they also added, if skin is replaced by another, it may return again in the future. So yes, now these skins can come back, and in the past, that was a big red flag. To have something really expensive that is also time limited was asking for trouble. And well, the most trouble that Riot ever got was from the fake rarity skin, which was limited. I mean, people took out loans to afford that skin. And so, Riot, you know what to update next. But for now, it is cool to see that Riot is not actually actively crippling themselves anymore. And besides just one new gacha skin a season, they will also return others, as they should. I still don't understand why that wasn't the case from the beginning. Just beware that when it comes to the pricing and the chances, nothing changed. It is still very expensive and it is a gacha machine. Also, keep in mind that the original borders and banners might still be limited. And so while the skins are coming back, it is possible that all the accessories are still gonna be a FOMO. But that is it when it comes to all the updates we got on PvE. Of course, Doombots are still being tested, but now we can see proofs of a progression with the WASD. There is a possibility of a new rarity for Chromas. There is also a possibility for an update coming to Arena, but the best part is still to come. Because apparently the next PvE should include the new T1 skins. At least time-wise, everything would line up. But people are still getting PTSD from the Ari.